This is the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, keeping you informed about the happenings in Annapolis and the area. Local news, local sports, local events, local opinion, and of course, local weather. The Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief starts now.
Good morning. It's Tuesday, August 25th, 2020. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. The Naval Academy and St. John's College have signed an agreement to allow midshipmen to live on the St. John's campus this fall. This is in response to the COVID-19 fight. The Naval Academy had set aside about 130 rooms in Bancroft Hall for quarantine or isolation purposes, and that actually booted people out of Bancroft Hall, and they were trying to find a place for them to live. So roughly 375 midshipmen will move from Bancroft Hall to dorm rooms at St. John's College. In addition to the dorm rooms, the Naval Academy is going to use several offices for leadership along with study rooms. And this contract does run through the end of the fall because earlier in the summer, St. John's College announced that they were going to move all instruction to completely online for the fall semester. So their campus was going to be virtually unoccupied. Kind of interesting that the Naval Academy may be saving St. John's. They did the same with Notre Dame back in World War II when they were housing midshipmen at Notre Dame's campus. And that's why we play Notre Dame every year, except for this year. Thanks, COVID. Hey, speaking of the Naval Academy, it is Tuesday, so we have our friends from Sing Second Sports here today with an update, so you want to make sure you hang around with that. And speaking of sports, the Baltimore Ravens have decided that they are not going to have fans in the stand for the first part of the season anyhow. In a statement sent out yesterday, they said, after consulting with government officials and public health experts, we will not host fans at M&T Bank Stadium for at least the initial part of the 2020 season. They did have a plan that they could safely host 7,500 fans, but as they worked through it, they realized that that was not going to work. Their statement continued, ultimately, the health and safety of our entire community is at the forefront of every decision we make. We will always protect the well-being of our fans, players, coaches, and staff. So as it is with the Orioles, you will be watching the Ravens from your television set. Another casualty of the COVID-19 virus. This is the venerable Sunset Restaurant in Glen, Burnie. It's right there along the B&A Trail on Greenway Road. They are going to be closing their doors permanently on September 30th after a 60-year run. Yes, that's right, 60. In a statement posted to their Facebook page, the owner said, like many other family-owned businesses, restrictions and the regulations imposed by the restaurant industry have driven us to make this decision. They will be accepting gift cards until the close of business on September 30th for dine-in and carry-out food and beverage purposes. So that's really kind of a bummer. It wasn't a real fancy place, but it was a real favorite for any kind of celebration that you did up in the Glen Burnie area. I've eaten there 2 or 3 times, and the food was really on point. A little bit of good news coming out of COVID. The U.S. Department of Labor's Bureau of Labor Statistics is reporting that Maryland is ahead of the game. We added 53,900 jobs in June. The unemployment rate is down to 7.6%, which is more than 25% lower than the national unemployment rate. All told, Maryland now has gained 156,200 jobs during the recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. However, that is still a long way to go. On this news, Governor Hogan said, I want to thank the many businesses that have been taking the health and safety precautions so seriously and those that have been taking the Maryland Strong Back to Business pledge and displaying it in their storefronts and places of business. Your actions are helping us get more Marylanders back to work and keep Maryland open for business. Interestingly enough, leisure and hospitality experienced the largest growth with an increase of 26,100 jobs, and that is really a key factor here in Anne Arundel County because there are so many jobs that are related to leisure and hospitality. And finally, as we wrap it up, another one of the unintended consequences of COVID-19, the Maryland State Board of Elections says that many school districts are falling short on providing technology to their returning students. Recent orders, of which Anne Arundel County has placed one for Chromebooks, are likely not to be delivered until November since the manufacturers are unable to keep up with the demand for laptops and Chromebooks throughout the country. Obviously, when everybody goes home, they all need laptops. All right, that does wrap it up for us today. Please make sure you check out eyeonannapolis.net throughout the day for updates to these stories and more. If you are someplace you can leave us a rating or a review, please do that. And please let your family, friends, colleagues, and anybody else you know about the podcast, how to subscribe to it, and how to give us a rating. It is Tuesday, so we do have our friends from Sing Second Sports here as well, but we do have George Young, as we have every day. All that's going to come up in 1 minute after this brief message from Solar Energy Services.
Hello, energy consumers. This is Rick Peters, president of Solar Energy Services. Have you been looking for ways to save money recently? Maybe you should consider solar energy for your home. Or are you waiting for the technology to get cheaper? If so, how long are you going to wait? Today's solar costs less than 20% of what it cost 10 years ago. But while solar prices have declined every year, so have the financial incentives. Bottom line, if you wait for cheaper solar, you're also waiting for lower incentives. Take my home, for example. My solar system was installed in 2010, and it's been paid off for almost 5 years, and I no longer have to buy any electricity for another 15 to 20 years. If I waited for cheaper solar, I'd still be paying an electric bill. At Solar Energy Services, we have thousands of satisfied customers who are sure glad they didn't wait. So what are you waiting for? Sunshine's a wasted. Call us today for a free solar design at 410-923-6090 or on the web at solarsaves.net.
Sunshine, sunshine, nothing else can make me feel so fine.
Going out? You need the most up-to-date local weather. Here's George Young from DMV Weather in Annapolis with today's forecast.
Hey everyone, this is George with DMV Weather, and this is your Eye on Annapolis forecast for Tuesday, August 25th. Yesterday was a bit of a hot one, as expected, with a few strong to severe afternoon thunderstorms in the area, and today will be much the same with highs 89 to 96 degrees, and more PM thunderstorms expected as well, with some possibly again turning severe. Then it's sunshine and 85 to 92 for afternoon highs on Wednesday, to be followed by more sun and 90s on Thursday before the next rain threat moves into the Annapolis region on Friday, with highs again in the upper 80s to mid-90s. As for the weekend, we're still keeping an eye on the track of Hurricane Laura, which could bring some rainfall to Anne Arundel County over the weekend after it makes landfall somewhere in the Gulf Coast region between Houston and New Orleans. So stay tuned for updates on that and stay aware of changing conditions later today as storms again develop in the area. Okay, that's it for today. This is George Young of DMV Weather. Make it a great day out there. Stay healthy and be safe. And be sure to get our free app on all of your devices by searching DC MDVA Weather in the Apple or Google App Store. And also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And use our website each day at dmvweather.com so you can always stay weather informed.
Hi everybody, this is Brian Griffiths, the publisher of The Duck Pen. I've been podcasting for almost 10 years, and I'll be making my return to podcasting this September with the Duck Pen Podcast. We'll be talking about the things that matter in your life: news, politics, sports, culture. We'll be looking at those things from a state, local, and national level, and we'll be talking to the people who are making those things happen. Subscribe now by visiting anchor.fm/theduckpin, or search for The Duck Pen, DUCKPIN, in your favorite podcast app or on YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at The Duck Pen. Subscribe today so you don't miss a single episode of The Duck Pen Podcast coming this September. To learn more about The Duck Pen, visit theduckpen.com.
All right, hey, Eye on Annapolis crowd, this is John Schofield with Sing Second Sports. The first game of the year, September 7th, Labor Day night against BYU. The big news this week is that there are no fans. We are talking to Matt Nunley, the Associate Athletic Director for Tickets, and also Bill Givens, the Associate Athletic Director for Operations and Championships. They are the guys making sure it all works out. Logistics, ingress, egress. How did they get to this decision? A fantastic show this week. Please tune in. Follow us on We Sing Second on Instagram and Twitter. Tune in. Take care.
You've been listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Tell your friends and colleagues this is the podcast where you can keep up on the latest with what's going on in Annapolis. And also tell them about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find even more information. This podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m., keeping you informed with the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. And take a moment to listen to our other podcast, The Maryland Crabs, released every Thursday at noon.